Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Shalina. Very good to be here with you guys today. It is a pleasure, and I am Peter Kennedy, a consultant for ITSM Resource, an ITIL expert and trainer, and also a KT trainer. So a number of years ago, I was working in ITIL and kept coming across this best practice that was called out in operational support and analysis in particular, Kepner-Trago. And I thought for a long time about it that, wow, here I am taking the opportunity to share with people a best practice that I don't know enough about. So that was what really led me to looking into Kepner-Trago a little more deeply. And about that time, there was the partnership between ITpreneurs and Kepner-Trago that became formed and became real, and the KT Foundation course started to emerge. And I had a real interest in understanding the KT processes to a deeper level. There were things that I talked about, but I didn't really know about in a great deal of with a great deal of clarity. So I looked at it really as, first off, understanding to a deeper level the KT processes and what I really meant when I was talking to people about ITIL and about leveraging these best practices that were called out. So I looked at it as a personal challenge, really, to more deeply understand the value that KT provided. And also, as I thought about Kepner-Trago, I thought about the opportunities to extend beyond the traditional consulting engagements and the traditional markets around IT that I had been engaged in. One of the things that I found out very on about Kepner-Trago is it applies very broadly into all kinds of markets. Manufacturing organizations, companies that create traditional products that you might shop for. So there are all kinds of applications. And I wanted to move beyond just focusing on a lot of the IT organizations. Certainly IT service management is a very key part of what I do, but I wanted to see it expand beyond what I was comfortable with and move into some different markets. I also saw it as the opportunity to differentiate myself from some of my competitors and ultimately to maintain more relevance in the dynamic marketplace. So I definitely saw some opportunities in becoming a KT trainer. So thinking about those things, I ultimately made the decision that I was going to pursue this. Very important thing for me personally. Reflecting on my experience with the Train the Trainer in Kepner-Trago, I want to say it was an absolutely extraordinary experience. It was something unlike any Train the Trainer course that I'd ever been through. We've got a bullet on here that says it's a significant investment of time, and that's almost an understatement. It is absolutely a very demanding investment because it's intense. But that speaks to the quality of the course material and the fact that both ITpreneurs and Kepner-Trago take the content of the course and the quality of the delivery in the course as very important and hold it in high esteem and of high value. The TTT itself was hands-on. It was a practical TTT that helps develop me as an instructor in a professional manner. You have the opportunity to experience firsthand what it's like to deliver the course. And the KT course itself is very complex, very challenging. It's not like the average ITIL course. It's not the death by PowerPoint that you might get in a lot of the traditional IT courses. It's a very intensive, hands-on type course that is really poetry in motion as you see the content come together through specific examples and the use of the systematic teaching methodology. And that TTT really drove the quality in the course delivery and seeing the expectations that were set both from ITpreneurs and from Kepner-Trago. It was an absolutely unforgettable experience and one which I have to think that I will remember for the rest of my life. Certainly, absolutely a great experience for me in going through that TTT. the opportunity I had when I first delivered my first KT classroom course, and by the way, we're recording the session right after I'm in the middle of a delivery of a KT course right now. So as I say that it's exhausting, believe me that it absolutely is a challenge to the instructor. The KT course really is unlike any course that you will deliver. It is so much fun, and it is so intensive for the instructor. You really have to be prepared. You have to know what you're doing. It relies a lot on flip charts. We're actually making the easel boards relevant again in offices. I mentioned that it's like a dance, or as I mentioned before, poetry in motion. Really, you have to stay very coordinated, and the effort that it takes to successfully deliver a course is really paramount. You move back and forth between topics using the systematic teaching methodology to ultimately provide great value and make it relevant to your customer, and it really does require some intensive preparation. It's not the kind of course that you can cram for the night before and think that you'll be okay moving through it. And in the course, you're actually able to apply the KT processes, and I love to see the lights go off in the students' heads as they see how they can apply this to their organization, as they see the power of processes like situation appraisal or problem analysis or decision analysis or potential problem analysis. And ultimately, as you go through the exercises, they get it. It becomes real to the students, and it really is a tremendous thing to see from an instructor perspective. It shows that you're actually delivering some value. So thinking about the value that KT has had for me from a professional standpoint and also personally, from a professional standpoint, I really wanted to become a KT instructor and have that additional credential. It provided some credibility to me and ultimately separated me from my competitors in the market spaces. That differentiator that ultimately I think has won me some additional business. Using the application of those processes during consulting engagements has really been beneficial, particularly as you utilize those questioning skills that KT teaches, as you apply the situation appraisal process. Really great value in ultimately getting information out of people that they didn't even know that they had within them. And it's been of extreme value on a professional level, but also personally, I've been able to apply some of these processes in my own life. And I really have a sense of accomplishment for what I've achieved in becoming a KT instructor. It's changed the way I think about things, and that's kind of a strange thing to say, some might think, but really it makes you think differently about thinking. Using the rational thought processes has been tremendous in my own personal life, and certainly dealing with people in the relationships. Just the relationships that I have with people has been very, very beneficial to me. And ultimately, as I've applied these processes through the course of my personal and professional life, I've become much more aware of things that are going on around me, particularly as we look at things like situation appraisal or problem analysis. Even when you get into things like potential problem analysis, and it's changed the way that I prepare for delivery of courses, not just in the KT space, but in the ITIL space as well. So a lot of value that it's had to me on a personal and professional level. When it comes to marketing KT, one of the things that I've done and we've done at ITSM Resource is we've worked with a number of different customers that we've handled in the traditional ITIL space to show the power of the KT processes, targeting those customers for additional training opportunities around KT. I kind of look at it in a lot of ways as providing some real significant emphasis behind their problem and incident management processes. I put it here as rocket fuel. for problem and incident management. And I think as Shalina showed us on the slides that she presented, that it really is a great process, or it has a number of great processes within it that really moves your problem and incident management processes to the next level. But for us, it has also meant that we can move beyond some traditional ITSM type customers. IT service management is great, but this opens up some additional markets that you can work within. And I think it's been very beneficial for us as we've looked to leverage the KT processes in other organizations as well. One of the things that I really, really like about KT is the systematic teaching methodology. As you deliver the course, there's a very structured way in which you do it, and KT has done a lot of research on making sure that the learning process is effective for the learners. And one of the things that it did for me is I had to reflect on the way that I was delivering some of the other courses that I delivered, the ITIL courses that I deliver on a frequent basis. I had to think about how I could better do that. After going through the KT TTT, I really had to reflect, and it's really taken my teaching in other areas to another level. I've leveraged that systematic teaching approach during other courses, particularly in ITIL, to make sure that we really do demonstrate the power of other processes in other courses as well. And in a big way, I focused a lot on building that relevance for students, regardless of what the course content is, just to make it real to them and show them how they can leverage the power of processes within their organizations.